O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Offense to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by HialeahParkCasino.com. Enjoy simulcast racing, dining, a magnificent poker room, and a casino with the most popular machines on the market. OKCoin.com. Download the app on iOS, Google Play, or Windows. OKCoin.com with over 50 different coins and incredible staking rewards. Pallet Rack City. There's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OKCoin Studios. OKCoin is one of the largest fiat to crypto trading platforms in the world, founded in 2013. OKCoin offers advanced features for crypto beginners and high-volume traders alike, enabling users in 184 countries worldwide. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OKCoin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, good morning. Yes, we are here. We are ready to rock and roll. Remember, it is an abbreviated show this morning because, of course, we've got this evening, and we got a nice long evening. And I see everybody's already asking us about breakfast buffets. Last night, and by the way, thank you all to all the folks that showed up last night at Tommy Rockers. We had such a good crew, and thanks to the Positive Porpoise giving me the band and everybody that showed up from all parts of the country. I can't say enough, and I look forward to meeting a lot of you all over the next couple of days. Tonight we'll be at Tommy Rockers again, and we'll be there all day on Saturday, rocking and rolling, getting it done for you guys. I thought we had a really good show yesterday, and we had a ton of guests. We'll have a bunch of guests again today at Tommy Rockers. So if you get tired of standing around in the sun and all that stuff, come on out and join us and relax and have some food, man. NorCal got there like at the end when we were leaving, and NorCal and company were out there at Tommy Rockers. So hopefully we'll get to catch all of you out there. But Tommy and everybody was just absolutely fantastic. And no, we have not hit any of the buffets, right? Like Ira's coming on now, he can relate to what the hell we're doing. You know what I mean? When we're in this zone for 3 days, I don't think you realize that we have like no time to do anything. It's get up. I'm doing 2 shows a day. I'm doing this short show, and then I'm doing the whole draft show. And trust me, it's all about preparation. Then you do the show, and you are so worn out at the end. All you do is get dinner, go home, and go right to bed. Actually, I came home here to prepare for today a little bit and then go to sleep and then get up and do it all over again. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. If you watch The Dirt, remember when Tommy Lee says, "What's it like touring?" and he goes through that whole thing. It's it's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted to feed me drinks last night, and one, with the gout, I can't really drink too much anyways. But 2, I told everybody I'm not having any drinks until Saturday night. Okay. When I'm done with the 3rd night of the draft, and then I can unwind a little bit since I'm off on Sunday. So if you're hanging around, we'll have some fun on Saturday. We'll have a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I already have a concert planned on Saturday. I'm going to go see Kansas. I'm going to go hang out with the band and everything. I got a backstage pass and everything, which, by the way, one lucky viewer, listener, whatever, that's at Tommy Rockers with me. I'm going to pick one of you to go with me to the Kansas concert. And so you got to be at Tommy Rockers on Saturday afternoon with us doing the draft. And if you're there, I'm going to pick somebody and you can go with me because Sean's not a Kansas guy, so he's not going to go. So, and Ira's not here. I know if Ira was here with me in Vegas, he'd want to go. I know how that is. You know what I'm saying? All right, we'll get into a little football talk in a couple minutes. Ira Winderman's going to join us now. Manny Navarro is set to join us after that. So we'll get some of our non-football guests in and some of our non-football segments, because obviously we can't do those in the evening when we're doing the draft. So we do those during the day. And obviously we got a lot of stuff to talk about with the Heat. The NIL business is heating up, and that Isaiah Wong story is kind of interesting. So we want to get into that with Manny Navarro. But before we do that, let's talk about the Eastern Conference studs known as the Miami Heat with Ira Winderman next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
This is the man, the myth, the legend, Ira Winderman. We'll get to see your face in a second here. We'll take down the Wealth and Realm X line board right there, which is 855-912-1056, by the way, if you want to send in a text. And we thank the great people at Welton Realm. How you feeling, Ira?
I am good. I am at FTX Arena. For all I know, I might be in Elton John's dressing room from last night. So the Heat were nice enough to give me a hard line in one of their dressing rooms here. So I'm trying to see if there's any glitter or something on the floor or an extra hairpiece to know maybe if it was Sir Elton himself who used this room last night before performing here at FTX.
I get the feeling that's a cheerleader's not the dancers, I'm sorry, locker. That's kind of what it looks like there.
Well, don't tell Mrs. Winderman if that's the case, but yeah, I'm the only one here, Big O.
The dancers aren't there, so you're good. You're safe. Mrs. Winderman is not going to be losing anything there, so she'll be fine. She'll be fine. All right. Your thoughts on some of the finishes now? The Sixers, we thought that they were going to get tripped up by the Raptors, and they didn't, and they finished business, so now the stage is set.
Yeah, there were 2 elements to that game I was looking at. One, to see if they can close it out, of course, to know about our series starting Monday, 7:30 here at FTX. 2 things. If James Harden could come around and be a contributor again, because really, Big O, that was his first good game of the series. So the fact that he became an element in that series, I think is a concern to the Heat. And then also the player formerly known as Danny Green finally stepped back up. Remember, this guy has a championship pedigree, but he's been very up and down, totally down in this series until last night.
Well,
so
he's
I
old.
think excuse me?
He's old.
Yeah, well, we're all old, so I usually don't go there with that.
Yeah, but you and I can still do our jobs at our age. At
Yes.
his age, in his game, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, but you know what?
What is
When
he,
I got
like
a 30
36, 37 or
Yeah,
something?
36, but the Heat has a 36-year-old point guard and a 37-year-old power forward, so
That's
you can
true.
only say so much. So I think the Sixers showed a stronger position with their play last night. So, yeah, I think this has the look of a 6 or 7 game series. That's a very good team. And again, you know, Big O, we always speak about usually the team that wins a series is the team that has the best player. Joel Embiid's the best player in the series. That's not arguable. That you might say the Heat have the second, the third, the fourth best, but Joel Embiid is the best player in this series. So if you go with that old NBA saw, the NBA maxim, the best player wins the series, that's going to be the challenge for the Heat. Now, he has that surgical right thumb, and he's wearing the splint, and he knows as soon as the playoffs are over, he has to have surgery. So 2 things. How is it going to hold up over another grueling series? And 2, you know this, Big O, because you follow all the sports. You know how in hockey, you either have an upper body injury or a lower body injury, but they won't tell you because they don't want you going after it. Could we see a little hack a hand in this series? I will be curious about that.
Yeah. PJ Tucker will be glad to hack you in the hand. So yes, I would imagine that you're going to get hacked.
Yeah, I think PJ is actually growing out his Freddy Krueger nails right now just to make it more efficient. So I will keep an eye to see if PJ gets a manicure along the way.
You know, when I'm looking at this matchup and we talk about Bam and, you know, taking that step forward and being more aggressive offensively, this is not the series where you got to worry about that, my brother. This is the series where you need to be Bam and be super Bam. Be super defensive Bam, because that's kind of what you need in this series. Let everybody else kind of take care of it. You agree with that?
Yeah, I do, Big O, except for one thing. Offensively, I totally agree with you, Big O. Defensively, I know what the Heat are proud of, that Bam could switch out and guard anyone. He could jump out on Maxey. He could jump out on Harden. But who the hell is going to jump over to Embiid if he jumps out? So Eric Spoelstra always said different horses for different courses. Sometimes you have to change your strategy. I could see that happening in this series where if Bam switches out, that's playing into the Sixers' hands. We might see more in this series. Bam Adebayo defend as a traditional center. And it'll be curious to see what that looks like. But I think, in my view, they have to play it that way. So I am curious to see how that plays out.
When I look at this series, while Embiid is the best player, I look at the bench, and Miami's bench is superior to the Sixers' bench. So we can just go back and forth and talk about, well, if Harden's playing well, you know, and Maxey and Embiid, okay. But when we go to the bench, I really like Miami's edge on the bench in this series. Agree?
Oh, I think, you know, when I wrote today, my matchup is sunsentinel.com. It'll be in tomorrow's paper. And I said that's the 2 keys to the series is the center matchup, best player in the series. But Philadelphia's bench is god-awful. Now, Matisse Thybulle will be back playing on the road because there's no vaccination policy here like in Toronto. That gives him maybe 1 reserves. But, you know, Furkan Korkmaz. Matter of fact, Philly won't even play a backup center. They played Paul Reed, basketball Paul, a little bit in that series. I think what's going to happen, Big O, because the Sixers don't have a backup center, because they traded Andre Drummond, because DeAndre Jordan stopped playing like years ago as an effective player, I think it'll play into the Heat's hands. Remember, on Tuesday against the Hawks, Dwayne Dedmon played 2 minutes, and that was it. Atlanta went smaller. We spoke about that in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report on Monday. We're going to speak about it today on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report. So you have that in play. But I think that plays into the Heat's hands, because if you don't have to play Dwayne Dedmon, then you can play Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, and your best buddy, Duncan Robinson. You can go with 5 wing type of players without playing another big. So all season, on our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports, I've told you my first 2 reserves are always Tyler Hero and Dwayne Dedmon, then mix and match. I think there's only 1 guaranteed reserve in this series for the Heat to have a definitive place. Tyler Hero is 6th man. 7th man, 8th man, 9th man, I think it's interchangeable. I think it's matchup based. And yes, the Heat are playing from such a position of strength. Basically, when I did the matchups, I gave the Heat the bench. I gave the Heat intangibles because as bad as their injuries are, none of the Heat guys are going for surgery after the season like Embiid. So you have to wonder when that thumb is going to fall off. All of a sudden, he'll have to run down the court and get his thumb and keep on playing, and home court advantage. This is the reason the Heat didn't play games at the end of the season, so they could have home court in this round, and they could have home court in the next round against the Bucks or against the Celtics. So I think the intangibles, I think the bench and coaching could be the little bits that push the Heat over the top.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, coaching also, they have the edge. Now, in this series, defensively, the aforementioned, my buddy, Duncan Robinson, and as his minutes have dwindled, because obviously you're also going to need a little bit more of a two-way player, and having Harden and having Maxey and having Green, guys that can hurt you from the outside. Doesn't Oladipo maybe become a bigger factor because of his perimeter defense?
You know what, Big O, and I'm glad you brought that up, and we spoke about that a little in our Slomas Home Security Inside the Paint on Wednesday, is if the Miami Heat truly are a meritocracy, and if you earn your way in, Victor Oladipo has earned his way in. And you can talk to me about matchups. You can talk to me about complementary style. You can talk to me about spacing. But if you do, after May surgery last year, everything I ask of you, and you persevere to this point, then how can you not play the guy? Because what he has shown over the last week, compared to Duncan Robinson, honestly, compared to Caleb Martin and some of the other guys on the roster, he's earned his way in. So how can you tell players, you sit them down right now, they're practicing upstairs here at FTX Arena, and say, earn your way? Victor Oladipo has. If he's not rewarded, this isn't a meritocracy. It is something else, and it's going to be awfully hard for the Heat going forward to tell a player, if you earn your way in, you will play. Because Victor Oladipo has earned his way in. He probably should be the second player off the bench in this series.
All right, so you and I, when we have these conversations, we like to go deeper than most people do in these conversations, and talk about things that people aren't thinking about now. They'll think about it later on. Is there a psychological game going on also with the Heat and Oladipo? Because you already shunned him the first time when he didn't come back strong. He said, we got to put that on the side. So now he came back like a whirling dervish, and he has looked so good for you. And then you're thinking, hey, we have an off season to think about. And if we want to keep this guy, we can't keep pushing him aside and leaning to Duncan. We were going to have to figure out a way in the off season to maybe move that Duncan salary to accommodate a Depot salary in a longer term deal. So we also have to slow walk this and make sure this relationship is super strong all the way to the end, not treat this guy like, discard him. So is there also a little mental game going on with the Heat organization and thinking of the future?
Big O, I agree with all of that. But as I wrote in my Ask Ira at SunSentinel.com, you have to live in the moment in the playoffs. You get to 16 wins. You have 4 of them. You need 12 more. You can't worry about salary cap and availability and bird rights and Duncan's contract. That'll all play out organically. I don't think it comes from the Heat standpoint. The Heat are not going through this. Pat Riley leaves Eric Spoelstra the hell alone, except to commiserate with a glass of wine after a loss. It's his team. It's his moment. Andy Ellisberg the same. Adam Simon the same. The Arisons the same. This is the moment. But you have another factor. You have Victor Oladipo switched agents after last season, took a minimum contract. Well, his agent now is looking for that big payday. Because I tell you, I went to State College, but I know one thing. 4% of 20 million is a lot more than 4% of 1 million. I think it'll be interesting how Victor Oladipo's camp handles this, because they know they want their guy to get paid. When he gets paid, they get paid. So I think the outside noise here might be something the Heat have to battle to a degree, because let's face it, Victor Oladipo's representation is not going to go back in that room with Pat Riley and say, you know what, we'll take another minimum deal because we're still working our way back. F that. They have busted their whatever for a year. They expect their payoff. And they know there's only one team in the NBA with bird rights to Victor Oladipo. That's the Miami Heat. Basically, the Heat can offer Victor Oladipo an unlimited amount, basically up to $40 million. No other team could basically offer more than exception money. So they want to make this work. So he has an agenda. His people have an agenda. Now, how can they keep that noise out during the playoffs? You can say your focus is a player, but I bet you every day that Victor Oladipo hears he's playing for the minimum, which he is, it cuts into you. Again, the minimum is $2.6 million. We can all kind of make do. That is a little bit more than I get for the Acura Pembroke Pines report, but I understand that it's all relative. Just a little bit. It's all relative. I think the outside noise is the factor. And you know what? As more national media arrive, they will for this series, they will for the Celtics probably next, maybe for the NBA Finals they make it, there's going to be more people going up to Victor Oladipo. What are you going to do next? How much are you going to get in free agency? You're looking forward to free agency. Then we will see the maturity of the man. Can he filter all of that out after this incredible comeback? Or is that just part of the NBA noise and crazy morning shows like you do or podcasts?
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's done everything he had to do to get to it. And he's now starting to look better and better and better. And we're not seeing any setbacks. So, and look, on the flip side, the Miami Heat's the one that made all the effort to kind of put Humpty Dumpty back together again. So you don't want it to go to waste either. Like, wow, we built you up so you could go kick ass for somebody else. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little part of the Heat that says,
and your other part is spot on though. We know Tyler Hero's due his extension based on how they handle Bam. You got to take care of Tyler. You take care of your guys. So it's really going to be that Duncan Robinson $18 million boondoggle. And how do you move on from that? Because let's face it, Big O. You're paying Bam. You're paying Butler. You're paying Lowry. You're paying Tyler Hero. To go to 4 or 5 of those big contracts is hard enough, let alone to go to 6 and go beyond that. So don't be surprised.
And we have the Caleb issue too, by the way. We have the Caleb issue,
Now, that's more reasonable. They can offer him up to 4 years at $44 million. You know what? If it goes beyond that, I think you look at it in a Tyler Johnson prism. Okay. You only pay so much for your 9th man. So you might have to say, look, you've been terrific for us. But if we stay with the same starting lineup next season and we have Tyler off our bench and Victor off our bench, the best you are going to be is an 8th man. You get in trouble in salary cap leagues when you start playing guys that far down the rotation, that kind of money. It's the Tyler Johnson 4-year, $50 million deal. They regret it from the moment they agreed to.
Boston, will they get tripped up by Milwaukee?
Not without Chris Middleton. Exactly. No, that was going to be a 7-game knock them down series. Also, the bull crap that the Bucks pulled by playing down to number 3 so they can get the Bulls in the first round, they gave home court to Boston. Big O, you've been through enough Heat Celtics series to know the Celtics home court advantage is real and is significant there. Yes. So I think that's another factor. I think Milwaukee was kind of a be careful what you wish for. Yes, you got the Bulls. Yes, you dispatched them easily, but now you're playing on the road against a very strong team. I see the Celtics coming out of there probably quicker than the Heat would get through the 76ers. That's my perspective.
All right, let me go off the beaten track a little bit here. What are you hearing around the league? Because I feel bad for Jerry West, man. I saw the HBO people. Hey, it's a document. It's not a documentary.
Bull crap. The character's name is Jerry West. He plays someone who runs the Lakers and did that. What to me?
But there's a lot of people that think this. All of this is true, man.
Right. If they would have called the character John White and used the same initials, fine. He's portrayed as Jerry West. I have dealt with Jerry. He has some issues. He has a different personality. He's very intense. He takes things so seriously. He could not watch his teams play because he would hide in the tunnel. I remember back in the days of the Forum when I was there. He's that kind of intense person. But there's intensity and there's meanness and there's craziness, and that is way over the top. And that's what you've seen in that series. It's an injustice. I hate this crap of fiction based on reality. No, if you're using the name of the team and you're using the people's names, it's not fiction, it's reality. They're not being coached by, Pat Rothstein or something. So, they did him dirty. And I think anyone involved in that production who is also involved with the Lakers should be ashamed of themselves.
They make him look like a freaking maniac, dude. It's sad, man, because I heard somebody on radio. I was cruising and listening. I think it was yesterday. And I was like, wow, I didn't know it was that crazy with the Lakers and the Jerry West. I'm like, I'm driving going, you're actually believing this?
Look, you're in Vegas, so that's like me comparing the temper of Big O to Joe Pesci and Goodfellas or something. A little bit different. Yes, Big O can get feisty, but he's not stabbing and burying, so a little bit different.
What'd you think of the report now coming out that Utah is dedicated to Mitchell, but maybe not so much Gobert. What's up with that?
I think you blow the whole thing up. I think you see what you can get and how you can go, because it's not really that partnership, it's the whole team. I mean, Mike Conley's turnover at the end of that game was hideous when they lost that game. Either shoot the layup or make the pass or call the timeout. So it's not just one person, one player. That's where coaches go. That's where front offices, which they've already gotten reshuffled, get reshuffled. So I think you got to tear it down. Big O, you know everything.
Should Snyder go? Not that he's bad. Does Snyder need a change of scenery? Is my
yeah? You know what?
question.
This reminds me of the Dolphins and all those 8-8 and 7-9 and 9-7 seasons. At some point, you have to say we have to do something different. So Quinn Snyder, in many ways, is Tony Sperano. He's good enough to get his team to the middle, but no one in sports wants to be in the middle. You get to the lottery, at the top of the NFL draft, like you're covering, or you get to the top. Utah has middled out. They have to do something.
Yeah, crazy stuff. All right. What are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Posted a couple of stories, did my matchup on the series, and basically said this is going to be such a cross match that just don't expect point guard against point guard or power forward against power forward. The Heat will be all over the place. I would not be surprised if power forward PJ Tucker winds up guarding James Harden. So I think they'll be all over the place. That is posted. Also did the story how interesting it was on Inside the NBA last night. Shaquille O'Neal, the former Heat player, is picking the Sixers because he says he thinks they have the advantage there with Embiid. And Charles Barkley, the former Sixer, is picking the Heat because he thinks the Sixers are a bunch of quitters who won't play hard through a 7-game series. So sort of each guy going against their former team. So I found that interesting. Also, you can find that at sunsentinel.com.
By the way, if Harden has another one of those shortcomings in this series, how much more heat does he get? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Big O, he is due a $200 million extension that the 76ers promised him when they made that trade. That could be really poorly spent money, but he's going to take it all in single dollar bills because he will be in Miami for at least 2 or 3 days this weekend.
But remember, the world is going digital. Crypto's taking over. So I don't know how these ladies are going to be collecting money. They're going to have like phones. You have to I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
They will be mining Bitcoin
money is
on
going
the
to disappear.
phone.
People don't realize that money is going to disappear. We're not going to have money anymore in our hands.
All right, he'll make it rain. He'll make it rain in Bitcoin. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. Make it rain in Bitcoin. Now, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat, and of course, subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and support Ira and all the great journalists that cover our sports here locally. Ira, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Back on Monday for our pregame series preview and our accurate Pembroke Pines report. Thank you, Big O.
You got it. There you go. And we'll still be in Vegas on Monday. Yeah. All right. What else do we have here? What do we have on the Big O? When is Omar coming on your show? Tonight and tomorrow. Okay. All the insiders are on at night. They're on during the draft. Okay. And welcome aboard to Essential Moving Experts. Yes, sir. 844-368-5750. There you go. Moving was never so easy. And they are nationwide, by the way. Okay. Home base in Daytona. And they are nationwide. And they are big fans of the show. As you can tell, the company is in Dolphins colors. Why do you think? Owner is a Dolphins fan. So, Essential Moving Experts. If you need a moving service, make sure you call our friends at Essential Moving Experts. 844-368-5750. They could be servicing your state. So make sure you call my friends there at Essential Moving Experts. Appreciate it as always. Support the folks that support us, man. Very important. Heat needed their guys to be more consistent and show up. So far, the Heat haven't played a complete game with everybody playing well. This is, they're the number 1 seed, and, they lost 1 game. Let's see. Ian from Brooklyn says, Sean, you and Big O did a fantastic job yesterday. Big facts. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It was all Sean. I just went along for the ride. I'm just hanging out here. Greater Good says, fear the buffet. It only makes you want to power nap. The guys don't have the time. Yeah, I know. For these 3 days, we really don't have much time. We really don't have much time. It's just one of those deals. I'd love to, but hey, listen, I'm here for a few more days after this. So that's when I get to just do the one show and then kind of have the rest of the day and do my thing and all that. So, we're looking forward to it. It's all right. We go through this. By the way, I thought yesterday, not that, to brag about our show or anything like that, but I thought considering we didn't have a pick, we had a fun time. We had a good time overall, you know? Right. Oh, there we go. Might as well get that cable out of the way. I was going, wow, that cable's kind of odd being there. Big O, do you think the Dolphins would consider trading up for N'Kobe Dean? He would make this defense special. I don't think they're going to be trading up for anybody, my man. I don't think they're giving away any picks whatsoever for next year. So no. And again, I told you yesterday, in order to move up to the second round, you need to give up a first rounder. Okay? You want to move up to the third round, you got to give up a second rounder. That's the way trading goes. You have to give up a round ahead. I explained that last night in the draft show when somebody mentioned that. Some of you live in this fantasy world and you don't realize the penalty that comes with it. And I get it. Most of you are saying, "Hey, we'll give him Michael Dieter and we can move up into the second round." No, that's a good trade. They'll like Michael Dieter, and it just doesn't work that way. It's not that simple. So if you think he's worth the first rounder, N'Kobe Dean, if you want him, okay, then you give up a first rounder. Is he worth a first rounder? Because that's what you got to give up. I'm not giving up one of the first rounders to move into the second round. This is not that kind of draft. Now, I'm not saying that somebody in the second or third or the sixth round could end up becoming an absolute stud. We all know that that's possible. But, I mean, it gets to a point where you have to understand they have loaded up the team already. They got a bunch of their free agents, and they use some of their draft collateral for proven players, kind of like what the Rams did. Why? Because they're kind of past the point of loading up draft picks. They've already set their foundation. They know what their team is. So what they want to do now is, cut corners now, get there already. So that's why they added veteran leadership to it. So I don't expect them to sacrifice any of their picks for next year because they probably, if we're as Dolphin fans, what we're praying for and hoping for and demanding is a really good season, an 11-win season, a playoff season. So that way those picks are there to add to a really good team. What I don't want to see for next year is that those picks are used to make up for mistakes and things that went bad this coming season. That's what I don't want to see. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So that's what's going on. Let's see. Eddie Lepp says, excited for our Cats. All teams will have to beat us at home. Yep. Congratulations to the Panthers. They won the President's Cup yesterday. They will now have home ice advantage throughout. If they get to the Stanley Cup, they will own the home ice advantage, which is just absolutely awesome. Great job by the Cats, man. That was when I saw that they won last night, and then the Preds end up beating the Avalanche in overtime, and they clinched it. That's it. It's over. It's over, man. So love it. Miles Deep 305 says, afternoon, Big O. Afternoon, sir. Jason Myers is in. He says we can trade Byron and get a first or a second. Do you know they guaranteed more money for Byron this year? So that means they accelerated more of the cap, so it would become a bigger cap hit. Do any of you follow the team? Do you understand the business side of it? You just play fantasy football. But you know what? The good thing is Jason Myers. Jason was making. He says, "Yeah, we could trade Byron in first." Okay, I got it. He was making fun. Okay, there you go. You're right, Jason. That's the kind of shit that they come up with. Yes, that's it. Exactly. That's the crazy stuff, man. The Finns could have 13 last year if they won the games they were competitive in. Well, you can blame one guy and he's gone. You can't fill every position. They did improve the offense, which was a priority. Well, man of 1,005 votes, they did not just improve the offense. It should be humming. Okay, and that's what I'm expecting. You have a pretty decent defense, you have a decent special teams. You go out and have a good offense, everything else gets better. They've been 9 and 10 wins the last 2 years. They can get to 11 if they get the offense fixed. So we'll see. All right, let's talk to Manny Navarro, baby. Let's get going. It's our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Is the man, the myth, the legend. That is Manny Navarro. How are you doing, my brother?
Doing good, oh. Staying up late hours, chasing this Isaiah Wong story and NIL.
Yeah.
You know how this.
Yeah, so what the hell is going on with this Isaiah Wong story? Because it's kind of, I don't know, fishy, strange, whatever. I don't know. Walk us through, because it's one of those where it's like a negotiated deal that he can get a better deal somewhere else, and then apparently that's not legal or something, or his appearances or something. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so basically Isaiah Wong's agent yesterday, who by the way is also the agent for Nigel Pack and as well as Jordan Miller. So he's got different guys who've gotten different deals with John Ruiz. Essentially, he went back. Isaiah signed a contract, an NIL deal with Life Wallet and John Ruiz on April 12th. Of course, Nigel Pack got the big deal, the $400,000 per year, a couple weeks after Isaiah had signed his deal. So his agent basically went back to Ruiz yesterday, called him and said, we want to see if we can renegotiate our deal. Isaiah wants more money if he's going to stay at Miami. And of course, there's a lot of red flags about this, because this isn't pay for play, right? That's the whole point with NIL. It's more of a, yes, you play for the University of Miami, and we like having you here. Here's the deal. We're going to sign you to market for us. And so this is the first time, at least that I've seen publicly, that we've kind of had a sort of a renegotiation. And the thing is, Ruiz isn't going to renegotiate. He's not going to redo the deal. And he's basically told Isaiah that, or Isaiah's reps that. Isaiah's not the one who made the phone call, but he's told Isaiah's reps that. And Isaiah's basically threatened, saying, I'm going to enter the transfer portal and go somewhere else. So this is the first time in the NIL era in college sports where we've really seen this play out publicly, where a player is asking for more money to stay with the college team. And that, again, that's a lot of red flags for the NCAA, because this isn't about pay for play. Name, image, and likeness is about marketing and being able to use your status as a player to profit off of it, not for schools to have to bid for your services. And of course, Miami isn't directly involved because Ruiz doesn't work for Miami. He's his own, right. He's his own businessman.
And Ruiz is a lawyer and he knows the law. So he's like, yeah.
Exactly. So I think, John, you saw some of his quotes in the ESPN article, and I was texting with him throughout this whole process. And he understands that this is a new sort of venture for a lot of kids, okay, and their families. And he said he's going to do his best to work with Isaiah. But this isn't about renegotiating an NIL deal to get somebody to stay at a school. That's not what it's about. In fact, if Isaiah wanted to transfer somewhere else, they would still honor the deal. The problem for him would be if he's in another city, how would he meet these marketing obligations where these guys have to go into Ruiz's office and film these commercials and these promotions and so forth. And so
he'll eventually forfeit the money anyway.
Right.
And now he's got to find a school that will pay him more than what he's getting now, which he may not be able to find that.
Now, I would imagine, okay, I mean, I haven't spoken to his agent about this yet, and maybe I will hear at some point. He's based out of St. Louis. And I want to ask him, did you get another deal? In other words, did another school come to you at some point, or another, NIL rep come to you and say, hey, we got a bigger deal for you at another school? Is that what prompted this? Or are you simply trying to get squeeze more money out of Ruiz? And so again,
Wong is here only for 1 year left, whereas Pack has 2 years left. Correct? Is that the way I understand it?
Correct. And here's the thing. I mean, the reality is this is all pay for play in some way, shape, or form, right? And these kids that are in the transfer portal, right? It's just like NBA free agency, right? I mean, the guys that are free agents are going to get more money than the guys who are renegotiating to get more money to stay with their current team. That's usually the way it works. So I think it's just the market, and so Pac he's created a bigger market for himself, being a transfer, being the number one transfer. Isaiah, being one of the returning players, I think just wasn't going to get as big a deal to stick around. So it's all brand new, it's all crazy in college sports, but it's a big deal because nobody's seen this before. We've never talked about this with college athletes before. I mean, at least publicly. I think behind the scenes, a lot of this has probably been going on for years, right? Kids negotiating how much money they're going to get to go to a college to begin with. But it was all under the table. Now it's out in the public. And so I think all of us, that have covered sports and just fans in general, there's a lot of them that are appalled by this, that just think, man, this is ridiculous. How this is becoming more like professional sports than anything else.
Yeah. Well, it was to a certain level professional already, as it semi-professional as it is.
Right.
Now it's just openly semi-professional now at this point. That's all it's changed. Can the school get in trouble is the question. No, because they're not involved with Isaiah's NIL. I mean, state law doesn't allow them. Florida state law doesn't allow the school to be involved. There's other states that have the right to get involved. Other schools in other states can do that. But in this case, Miami has nothing. In fact, the only person I think who can get in trouble for this ultimately is his agent and Isaiah. The NCAA may deem, hey, you're asking to get paid. Right. You're quoted in ESPN. Your agent is quoted in ESPN saying you want more money if you're going to stay in Miami. That's pay for play. So I don't think Miami's in any jeopardy whatsoever, and I don't think John Ruiz is in any jeopardy whatsoever. He, he's told the line here, right? I mean, publicly with all of these deals, announcing them and saying how much each of these kids are making, or sort of celebrating publicly every time these kids sign. But he's also following the rules because he's a lawyer and he knows the rules, and he knows in this case, if he renegotiates Isaiah's deal and it becomes public that he gave this kid more money to stay at Miami, then he gets himself in trouble. Right. Then it becomes a real big problem now for this whole mess too. And for him too, on top of all, it stains what he's doing too.
Right. And he's not going to do that.
Right. He's got too much to lose, and he's got to help the entire program. It's not about, one young man. Dude, this is all jealousy that Pac ended up getting the bigger deal, and obviously he's been busting his ass here for the Canes the last couple of years, but he has to understand it's not the Canes paying you, dude. So it's not like there's a salary cap and a general manager there, and you're trying to break up the pie depending on what you produce and all. That's just not the way it is. You know what I mean? So,
right.
And by the way, how much is he earning this year, Isaiah?
I don't have
his deal.
I don't have that number. I just know from communicating with his agent that it's significantly less. I asked how much less than what Nigel Pack. He said a lot. So take it for what it is. But I will say this: guys like Tyler Van Dyke, okay, who have multiple deals with Ruiz's company because he's also with the cigarette boat racing. I think he's one of 7 athletes with multiple deals with Ruiz. I think as far as Ruiz is concerned, I don't think he's making 100,000, and that's Tyler Van Dyke, who's the star quarterback. I mean, you're talking about Pat coming and making 4 times that, right? From Ruiz. And now Tyler's got multiple deals with other companies because he's the star quarterback and he's making well into 6 figures. But
that's what Wong has to do. He has to try to find other sponsors
and I think that's what essentially what John and the people at Life Wallet have told him. Like, look, you can get other deals here. We've had a lot
have Isaiah Wong call me. We'll have the Isaiah Wong show.
There you go. You can bring him on and have him host.
We'll expand the platform again. That's what we'll do. Anything new on the recruiting side, by the way? Is Mr. Ruiz and company or Malky or Drew or somebody helping out here? What's the latest recruiting side on the recruiting side?
I mean, I think there's definitely interest in wide receiver. I mentioned that on Tuesday. All indications to me are that that's what the last sort of position they're looking to address here through the portal, at least for this coming season. But May 1st is Sunday. That's the deadline for everybody to get into the portal if they're going to transfer. So I think we're going to see more activity on that front. As far as the high school recruiting, they've got, I think, 5 commitments now. Miami does. They've talked to a lot of kids. I think, Ruben Bain, Jaylen Brown, a lot of their big local targets could be the next ones to commit. But it all depends on those kids. And those kids, I think, all want to take official visits probably in the summer or the fall and go to games. And if they commit to Miami now, they kind of kill that, right? Because the school's going to be like, you're going to Miami. I don't know where they are as far as the 2023 class. I don't think there's a lot of urgency to land guys right now and get them to commit right now. I think Mario's fine with where things are standing. In the end, it's all going to depend, like how well they do in December signing guys is going to depend on how they do during the season. So these guys can commit now, but we know that a lot's going to change between now and December. So, but nothing imminent that I'm aware of as far as, I mean, look, again, the bigger victory is that they've had all these elite kids on campus already throughout the spring, and the coaches are out on the road, basically recruiting the 24 and 25 classes right now. So they're working ahead. They're putting in the work ahead for those classes and finding those prospects. But the recruiting game, man, I think it's going to be a little quiet here unless some of these local recruits decide to pull the trigger.
Right. Well, yesterday, as expected, no Kane was taken. Who's the Kane that's going to be taken? Is there a Kane that's going to be taken?
That's a great question. I think if there are Canes taken, it's probably Charleston Rambo or Bubba Bolden, and it's probably the 6th or 7th round of this draft. I know Miami's had a run, I think, since 1975 of having somebody taken. I think it's in danger this year. I think there's a chance that if those guys didn't impress on their, visits to those teams or those meetings that they had with those teams, then they could be undrafted free agents, and I've said to you before, Charleston Rambo, he's a guy that didn't play a lot of special teams. As good as he played last season, if you're going to be a 6th or 7th wide receiver on an NFL roster,
or 5th,
that's what's going to get. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be lucky enough to land one of those last spots, okay, you got to be a special teams guy.
That's what pissed me off about the back end of Miami's wide receiving core last year. Because Devontae Parker doesn't play special teams and Albert Wilson doesn't play, special teams. Will Fuller, who never even played but doesn't play special teams. Preston Williams doesn't help you on special teams. And so, what are you going to do? Tyreek Waddle's going to catch 100 balls and play special teams for you? What the hell is wrong with you people? He's coming off a foot injury. So it was one of those things that kind of pissed. And then they traded away their only returner, which is the only guy that scored on a return last year in the NFL. So it was just one of those things that frustrated me. And I actually talked about that on the back end of the draft, that if they draft a corner, running back, wide receiver, that guy has to be a stud special teamer. You cannot have a guy, again, at the back end of the running back, the wide receiver, the cornerbacks, and the guy's not a special teamer. He has to be a stud.
Now Charleston says, and the guys he's worked with, the coaches I've talked to, were like, look, he just didn't do it at Miami, but he can do it. He's capable of it. Now, whether or not an NFL team is going to trust that,
right? You don't know.
They don't know that. So
there's no tape. It sucks.
Yeah. So in the end, that could be what gets him not drafted. And then as far as Bubba Bolden's concerned, coming off shoulder surgery, had a terrible 21 season because of the fact that he injured his shoulder. Yes, he put up good tape in 20, but it was mixed. There were games where he played great, like Clemson, that we all remember that game with bloody nose, him on the sideline and all that kind of stuff. And he's a big-bodied guy. But, again, it's gonna take an NFL team really liking Bubba Bolden and wanting him to be a part of the organization to take him with one of those late picks. But there were a lot of safeties taken, right, in the first round. Wasn't there 3 safeties taken? That's kind of high, I think, for the first round.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Hamilton, Scene, and the kid right before him, who I know is kind of a hybrid, the one from Michigan. I think there were three safeties taken. So who knows? I mean, there's that obviously. I mean, I don't know which teams are dying for safety help, but I'm sure we could study it. I'm sure the Athletic has a story somewhere on it explaining which teams are looking for safeties, and we can kind of check off the list, right? Of, well, maybe he'll end up here, maybe he'll end up here. But again, not till Saturday, not till late.
All right, make sure you want to keep up with Manny. Why don't you subscribe over to The Athletic? It's really cheap, man. What is it? Is it still $1 right now?
I think it's still $1. Yes. I wrote about.
Either way, it's super cheap, man. All right. And Manny produces a bunch of stories, and you get to not get only the local stuff, but you'll get some international, like a little soccer too. And a little trick, by the way, when you subscribe to The Athletic, go to Manny Articles and click his name, and then that'll be his page, and you can bookmark that, and then all the articles that he puts up will come up right there on that page, and you can keep
exactly.
That's kind of how I keep up with it too. So you can do that kind of stuff at The Athletic and make it nice and easy for you. You could do that for any of the writers.
Yeah.
So if is Mandel with you guys?
We have Stuart Mandel with us, who I know.
All right, so if you like Mandel, because I know I have Mandel locked in. So some of the guys I lock in
Bruce Feldman.
Save it. Feldman's another guy because he's an insider. So certain guys I lock in The Athletic, and you can do the same thing. Keep them on your bookmark, and then you can keep up with anything you're interested in. What are you working on? What are you working on, bro?
Oh man, obviously this NIL stuff. At some point, I'm going to write a story. In fact, Ruiz invited me to come fly with him next week because they were going to sell it. They're filming a documentary. His company is of the NIL deals. He's going to fly to pick up the Cavender twins, who of course are coming to play for the women's basketball team. And then Nigel Pack, he's going to go pick him up, I think, in Atlanta. So you asked me, he's got this brand. Have you seen this plane, by the way? The 767, this fully refurbished. No. I think it's got a bedroom. It's got like 4 showers. It's ridiculous. This is not a 767. I think the New Times did a story on it. But it looks ridiculous. Anyway, he asked me to come on the plane with him to chronicle kind of this NIL moment. So that'll probably end up happening. Although I got to go to Phoenix as well in the middle of all this for some college football meetings with the Athletics. So we'll see how I work out the timing. But don't you feel sorry for Manny?
Jet setting around, hanging out in John Ruiz's 767. God, your life is so bad, man.
I know, it's so rough. And then besides from that, I mean, I caught up with Jafari Harvey this week, Malik Rozier, who's working with Tyler Van Dyke. There's a couple of different projects that I'm kind of working on here behind the scenes amongst all the NIL and the draft, which I've been helping with the draft. I wrote a Jermaine Johnson story. So I'm busy, man. And I'm not just Canes, but I'm a busy guy here.
Always are. If we're not busy, we're dead, baby. If we're not busy, we're dead. We always got to grind. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Enjoy Vegas, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Canes Bear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Thank you all, as always, for keeping it locked here on the program. Edge Energy Drink right there, baby. Use my code Big O, and you get 10% off. Delicious, smooth, zero aftertaste. That's what's going to blow you away, because every damn energy drink I've had, there's some aftertaste. Reminds me of Diet Coke or something. Ugh. You know, that kind of stuff. Ugh. Anyway, no, zero aftertaste. And you can order it anywhere you want at myedgedrink.com. Wherever you're at, you'll get 10% off. Put the code Big O. You will love it. You will live on the edge. I need some edge here in Vegas, actually. Telling John he should have come out here with us to Vegas and hang out a little bit. Folks, don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button, please. Appreciate all of you out there keeping it supportive here on the program. Thank you. Two excellent conversations with Ira and with Manny. Two conversations you will not get anywhere else. That's for sure. I'd rather have Mama over Dean. Dean is undersized and he's injured. Tyndall over Dean. I like Tyndall. Greater Good says, thank you, Big O, homeboys, for the 77. Well, we're up to 86 now. And by the way, please smash the like button. Don't forget there. Smash that like button. Really need you to smash the like button. It's very important to smash the like button. Hey, remember, also, we've got the rainy season coming. And if you need a new roof, please call my friends at Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. All right. AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau. They've been at this for over 25 years. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. And they're also a Y-Green contractor. And here's the challenge for you. Your home or your business, you need a new roof, call Tommy B. Butts. You get their roof done with their experts, and I'm going to do a show at your home or your business. And if it's for your business, it becomes a commercial for a couple of hours, a free commercial. So there you go. So call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises if you need a new roof. Got that tarp you want to get rid of, because there are still people that have tarps, and it's tough. I know that times are tough. So make Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises, and then I'll be hanging out with you doing a show. How about that? So there you go. The Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 is the Welton Rayom text line. If you want to get in, remember, we're back tonight, 7 o'clock tonight, to start the draft again. And we'll have a ton of guests for you also. Mike DeRocco, who did not join us late last night, has scheduled, I think, 9 o'clock tonight. He's going to join us. Here's the lineup for tonight. 8 o'clock, Marcel Louis-Jacques is going to join us. 8:30, Randy McMichael, former Dolphin tight end. 9 o'clock, Mike DeRocco, Jags beat writer. Obviously, the Jags were they got 3 players. I think it was 2 players in that first round. They did a nice job overall. Omar Kelly, although I would have taken a lineman instead of the D lineman, but that's just me. Omar Kelly is set to join us at 10. Dan Leberfeld, who covers the Jets, and I hate to say it, the Jets did a good job. Damn first round. 10:30, 11 o'clock, Alan Pupar will be on with us, and at 11:30, Cameron Wolf will be on with us. So we got an absolutely loaded. And remember, towards the end of tonight, we will have a pick. We will have that third round selection. So we'll kind of know we'll have at least one player we can talk about. They trade down into the fourth round and get a couple of extra picks. What's up, Bo? Just smash the crap out of the like button on YouTube. Dan, the man watching here in sunny California. All right, there's a lot of you moving out of that stinking state, boy. Me last year in Vegas, Dan, the man. There he is. Nice. There you go. Nice. And he's got a Modelo in hand and everything. There you go. I love Modelo. That's such a good beer, man. Good job by you, my brother. And thanks again to all the Dolphin fans that showed up at Tommy's. We had a great crowd last night. I hope we have another great crowd tonight and maybe more people show up out there. So I'm hoping we get to see a lot of the Dolphin Nation that's out here watching and hanging out for the draft. So it's a great event, man. Great event. All right. By the way, things got strange in the draft last night as the New England Patriots took a guy that, on my notes, he was kind of a third rounder, actually. Maybe best case scenario, second rounder, but out of Chattanooga, guard named Cole Strange. So the funny part was the Rams were doing their press conference. And as you know, the Rams don't have any picks because they always trade away all their picks. And they had later picks. And so they were they had some comment about Cole Strange getting selected in the first round by the New England Patriots. Sean Stanley, the man that masters this program every day. Sir, can you play this soundbite? Here is Sean McVay, and I'm forgetting now the GM now, Les Snead, talking about Cole Strange out of Chattanooga being selected late in the first round by the New England Patriots.
Really? Oh, my UT Chattanooga to the first round. Hey,
How about that? And we wasted our time watching him thinking he'd be at 104, maybe.
There you go. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. That was funny. That was funny. Motivating for Cole Strange, by the way. But somebody believed in him. Who knows? Listen, it's not like I'm not one of those guys that looks at his draft picks and oh my God, this guy he's not a great drafter. Does a better job of picking up guys off of other teams' scrap that they failed there, but he finds a place for them on his team. He does a better job of that actually more often than actually drafting. So I don't know what's going to happen with Cole Strange or whatever, but it's just kind of that was funny by the Rams. When you win the Super Bowl, you can make those kind of jokes, even if it's with the GOAT making the selection overall. Good, glad y'all leaving Cali, lower the cost so I can buy another house. Yeah, go for it. Buy another house in California. What up, Big O? The Amazon manager is in the building. Panthers President's Trophy winners. Yes, sir. Irving says, Debo might be happening next year. Not this year, though not impossible. It's not happening next year, not happening this year, not happening at all. Miles Deep, smash the like button. Support Big O so he can keep traveling and help the stats. There you go. Help the stats. And more like, and the travel too. We could get to cover events for you guys. It's kind of the idea. It's not like any outlet in South Florida is in Las Vegas covering the draft. It's not like any outlet will be in Las Vegas in 2 more months for the NBA Summer League. You know what I mean? So that's what you're supporting. You're supporting a platform that's going to be able to cover all kinds of South Florida sports events for our teams. Dolphins, Panthers, Marlins, Heat, Canes, Inter, you name it. That's the idea. And that's what we're going to build here. That's what we're building here. That's what I tell you all the time. And it takes everybody to kind of build this whole thing. Good thing Bill Belly is still coaching, making all these terrible moves for us. Well, the good thing is he's not winning anything lately. That's the best part about it. 5 Georgia players drafted in the first round. How about Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson got pissed that Hollywood Brown got traded. Hollywood Brown, he tweeted out, "Oh, I would love to play with my brother forever, and we'll meet, whatever, and all that good stuff." And he said all the right things. If you're a wide receiver, and by the way, Debo Samuel fits perfectly there with a running quarterback because he's a running wide receiver. Really, that would be the move that Baltimore should make. Is that one right there? So I was looking at Marquise Brown's stats. Okay. And he averaged 12.7 yards a catch his first year, 13.3 his second, and 11.1 this past year. His worst average per catch this year. Now, he did get to 1,000 yards, 1,008, barely over 1,000, which is really, it's a so-so season, whatever. 60-something yards per game is 1,000 yards. 91 receptions to get 1,000 yards. Okay. 58 receptions for 769 the year before, and 46 for 584. His touchdowns, 7, 8, and 6. I ask you again, do you really think Hollywood Brown, a wide receiver, is that disappointed that he got traded away from the Baltimore Ravens? What say the almost 200 people watching right now? What is your gut telling you right now? Is Hollywood Brown happy or sad about leaving Lamar Jackson? You tell me. Happy that he left or sad that he left? Honestly, what do you think? Give me the answer on the chat board right now. I'd love to see what you guys think about that one. Because for me, I think any wide receiver would be, except for a tight end, different. But a wide receiver, why would you want to play with Lamar Jackson? A running back, hell, I want Lamar Jackson. A Debo Samuel, he should want to play with Lamar Jackson. It's short asses run around the line of scrimmage, and the rest is yak. And he can do that. It's not like he's fighting you downfield all the time. When I saw that, and it's like, and I saw his, tweet that he was like retweeting other pissed off fans and all that. And then Hollywood said all the right things, but deep down inside, if Hollywood Brown wants to get a big time contract, do you get that contract with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback? The most diva position that exists in all of pro sports, the wide receiver. I've seen very few that are going to be very happy. Put it this way. I doubt that they're going to act with the class of Art Monk. Okay? Because Art Monk was like one of the classiest pro wide receivers, a Hall of Famer, played forever, never complained, whether he was the number one guy, whether he was the number 2 guy on the team that year or whatever, or in a game or whatever, he was always a team guy. Was never going to be, those kind of players don't exist. They want the ball. They want to score. They want the limelight, all that stuff. Very few wide receivers are non-divas. And that's one guy that comes to my mind right away. Like Nat Moore was another one. Nat Moore was another terrific wide receiver. I know you don't consider him, a Hall of Fame wide receiver, but in Dolphin lore, he's a hell of a wide receiver. And there's no diva in that guy. None. Zero. But it's very few of those guys are like that. Amongst and the Nat Moores of the world are just few and far between. Most of them are all divas. They want the ball. They want to score. Most of you are saying happy. It's just, that's not the guy that's going to allow you to get a big ass contract. Look at his numbers. He's in his third year. He's going into his fourth year. How do you pay that guy big money when he can't put up big stats because he doesn't have a quarterback that can allow him to put up big stats? So if you're Hollywood Brown, I think you're pretty happy you're in Arizona now, and you're opposite of D Hop, and you're going to get the ball a lot now. Because there's one dude getting the double teams, and it ain't Hollywood Brown. That's going to be a lot of fun for him. And Kyler Murray, by the way, is a real passer. He can actually pass the ball. He's like a legitimate quarterback, not an athlete trying to play quarterback. No. He's a quarterback that has athleticism, like Russell Wilson. Those kind of guys. Steve Young, passers that actually have athleticism, not athletes trying to play the quarterback position. So he'll have an improved passer in his world. I would think he's a little happier today. Tony Nathan, definitely not. Yeah, but he's a running back. That's different. We had a lot of running backs. You have a lot of classy running backs. Wide receivers, oh man, those are mostly divas. Mostly divas. They're rare. Do they act like Art Monk and Nat Moore? Rare, dude. Those are Larry Fitzgerald. Nice job at 6193. Nice job. Hall of Fame non-diva. That's a really good one right there. I like that one. That's no, Mark Clayton was all about being a diva, my brother. Clayton and Duper wanted the ball, and they told you about it. But hey, listen, I don't have. If you want to talk, walk, right? You got to walk the talk, right? If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, right? That's how it says. Well, if you talk, you got to walk it. And that's the one thing about the Marx Brothers. They talked it. They were a bunch of divas, but they walked it. So I don't have a problem with that. If you're going to run your mouth, you got to back it up. If you run your mouth and you back it up, Deion Sanders ran his mouth and then he shut your ass down. So I got no problem with that. But the Marx Brothers, Andre Johnson, ooh. Nice GM hindsight. There you go. Non-diva wide receiver. That's a good one right there, dude. Yeah, Marvin Harrison was a quiet receiver too. Not behind the scenes apparently, but yeah, on the field, I think he was very non-diva. You are correct. It's a good one. Don't mess with him off the field because he might shoot your ass. No, Chris Chambers had diva in him. No, Chris Chambers had diva in him. I love Chris. Hell, I'll give you a story. I had a conversation with Chris once after the game. And I said, Chris, and that's the beauty of Chris. Chris was such a decent human being. No, I'm sorry. Why did you say was? Chris is a decent human being, right? He's like a really good dude. So you would think he's a little non-diva, but he was diva. He had some diva in him. And he had a tendency at times to complain about penalties all the time. And one day I walked up to him, I said, Chris, I love you, brother. And I'm your friend that will tell you what you don't want to hear. I'm not your friend that allows you to screw up and do things and all that. And I'm like, yeah, no, dude, you're all right. You're cool, bro. I'm not going to feed you the bullshit. That's not who I am. Okay? Wouldn't do it a friend of mine. I wouldn't do it a family member of mine or nothing. And not that me and Chris were friends, but it was one of those where I covered him every day. So I kind of got to know him pretty well. And I could joke around with him, all that. And I walked up to him one day and I said, Chris, you got to stop complaining about penalties all the time. And I go, they're not going to give them to you then when they do commit the penalty, because there are times that you are calling for a penalty and you should have gotten it. But if you're doing it every time, then the boy, they cried wolf. He didn't tell me, hey, go F yourself, anything like that. Yeah, you might be right on that. And it was just one because he's a great person. You know what I mean? If you ever met Chris, he's a good dude. And he wanted the ball. He wanted his share of the ball. He's a good receiver, man. Good receiver. He played bigger than what he was too. I don't know if you've ever stood next to Chris Chambers. While he was a thick dude and a super athletic guy, he wasn't a really tall guy. But when he played the game, he played bigger than his size, always. That's one of the things I liked about Chris's game. But he had a little bit of it in there. He wasn't all out diva or anything like the Marx Brothers or Chad Johnson or whatever. But he had a little diva in him. OJ McDuffie, there was zero diva in him, all badass. Yeah, McDuffie is like the lunch pail type guy. Yeah, that's who it was. No doubt about that. I'm with you there. By the way, of course, our show is proudly brought to you by Sloman's Home Security. And folks, don't forget that you can get a free doorbell camera right now, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME for your free doorbell camera. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you right now. And that doorbell camera connects to your smartphone. It is super convenient, folks. That way you know who's at the door, if you want to talk to them or if you don't want to talk to them. If they're delivering a package, it doesn't matter. That's what you're going to love. In fact, the other day when my wife pulled in, she had some stuff that she had to carry in. So she ends up, and I've done this myself, she ends up turning off the alarm from her cell phone. So that way, when she walks in the door, the alarms, and you're trying to balance all the bags, no, you don't need to do that. With the Sloman's Home Shield, you can control it from your phone. How about this? My dogs, right? When I set the alarm, they start barking, all that. And so what I do is I leave the house, lock the door, I get in my car, and then I grab my phone and I set the alarm. That way I don't have to hear the dogs. And you can disarm the alarm before you pull into the house. It's a beautiful thing, man. You don't even have to deal with the keypad or anything like that. And using the keypad is so easy. 1-800-ALARM-ME. We're going to give you a free doorbell camera. It connects directly to your smartphone. You're going to get our professional installation, our low-cost central station monitoring. We're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. All you have to do is call 1-800-ALARM-ME. We're in 14 different states, so please call them and support the great people that support us. The Sloman's Shield. Protect your home, protect your business. There we go. Oh, you are on top of the bots there. Nice job by you, Sean. Way to go. All right, what else do we have here that I wanted to talk about on Le Programme? Oh, by the way, we have something to talk about today, right? We've got a little NBA action. Suns, by the way, defeated the Pelicans 115 to 109. Suns lead. Suns won the series 4-2. The 76ers defeated the Raptors. So now we've got the Sixers and the Heat. 132 to 97. They annihilated them. So they lead 4-2. The Mavs, they eliminated the Jazz also with their game. 4-2 also in that series. Tell you, man. How about that? So we've got a game left for tonight. So why don't we talk about our liquor split matchup of the night?
It's time to tap that app. And no one loves to tap that app like the Big O. Here's the liquor split matchup of the night.
Game tonight, it is Memphis and Minnesota, and right now the Memphis Grizzlies are favored by 1.5. The over and under is 228.5. Memphis is minus 120 in the money line. Timberwolves are plus 100 in the money line. Got a 9:05 game Eastern, So we'll be watching it over at Tommy Rockers towards the middle of the draft there. So we'll have some fun while we watch John Morant do his thing. He had a nasty dunk tonight. I think what happened the other night is going to be something that lifts that Memphis team. And John Morant is listen. I've been a John Morant guy from day one. When everybody was on the Zion bandwagon, I was never ever on the Zion bandwagon. I never liked Zion because I thought he would be injury prone because of his body, and so far he actually has been that. Sadly, I was right about it. In fact, I put my money where my mouth is. In fantasy basketball, you could actually get keepers during their rookie seasons, and I drafted John Morant because that's the guy I wanted. I wasn't going to touch Zion Williamson. Whether he comes back or not, we'll see, man. We'll see if the kid can actually screw his head on right and understand that he's got to take care of his body a lot better than he does in order for him to stay healthy. It's just ridiculous that you're injured and you're dunking all over the place, and it's just weird. But anyway, I'm going to ride Memphis tonight. I'm going to go Memphis -1.5 tonight. I'm going to lay the points. I think John Moran and company do a number and take care of business here against Minnesota tonight. So I'm going to lay the 1.5 here. Don't forget, you can order Liquor Split anytime. Tap that app, baby. Flat fee of $2.99. No hidden fees whatsoever. So if you need some liquor, you need some beer, some wine, some vodka, some chips, some snacks, they've got it for you. Download the app and tap that app. Android or iOS, Liquor Split. Tap that app, baby. That is your Liquor Split matchup of the night.
The matchup of the night is brought to you by Liquor Split, Miami's own online liquor store. Liquor Split. Download then tap that app and get your favorite liquor delivered to you for just $2.99. No risk, no drinking and driving. Tap that app with Liquor Split.
The way I'd be remiss if I did not congratulate the Marlins for sweeping the Nationals last night, 3-2. They're now 10-8. They're 2 games over 500. They're in second place in the division. They're 6-5 on the road last night. Trevor Rogers got the win, his first win of the season, went 6 innings, 2 hits, 4 Ks, and lowered the ERA to 5.09. Cole Sulser, by the way, ended up picking up his first save of the year. He pitched an inning and a third, picking up a couple of Ks. They will start with the Mariners this afternoon at 3:40. Matt Brash taking on Elieser Hernandez there. And so first pitch will be 3:40, but pretty impressive for the Marlins to be 10-8 right now in the first 18 games. It's a really nice job. And you know that they were going to get pitching, but if they start getting the hitting like they have, this is why things will get interesting. And it would be really nice if they can force us to talk about baseball. Because I love baseball. I have no problem talking about baseball. I want to talk about baseball. But man, it's just you got to give me something so I can get it out of you guys, and then it's something that can, we understand. I see the downloads, so I know what you respond to. You know what I'm saying? I know you respond to football. I know you respond to basketball. You know what I'm saying? But baseball is one that we have to get people, and it's up to the Marlins to get everybody else involved in all of this. So the Panthers now they win the President's Cup. They defeat Ottawa 4-0. Verhaeghe has 2 goals. Bennett has a goal and an assist. Knight had 27 saves in the shutout. It's pretty nice. Colorado ends up losing to Nashville in overtime, or in the shootout, that is. I'm sorry, 5-4. So the Avs end up with the 119 points and the Panthers with 122. So it's over with 1 game left. They can't catch up. So now it'll be Florida and the Capitals in the first round of that one. But here's the catch to this one. I don't know if you guys know this, but Washington, okay, they're not as good as the Panthers. I understand that. They're 25-9-6 on the road. They're pretty good on the road. Holy shit. By the way, the Panthers are 24-10-6 on the road. So they are better than the Panthers on the road. Slightly, just a hair. But Panthers are going to have to also, and the Stanley Cup playoffs are weird. While they have home ice doesn't necessarily mean what home ice normally means. So just something to kind of weigh in there. And just to spin it off of that, Sixers and Heat, right? Did you know that the Sixers are 27-14 on the road? So, I'm sorry, 29-12, okay, on the road. 29-12. At home, they were 27-14. The Sixers have 2 more wins on the road than they do at home. They're 51-31 overall. Okay? So, the Heat and the Panthers are playing 2 teams in the next round here, one in the first round, one in the second round, and both teams are very good on. So Miami and the Panthers are going to have to be very careful at home and not give away any games. All right. We're going to wrap it up here on the show. We will catch you guys later on this evening at 7 o'clock. So we cover the NFL draft. Appreciate all of you out there. How long did we go there, Sean? Not bad. There you go. 90-minute show. Appreciate it all out there. We thank Ira Winderman and Manny Navarro. Thank all of you out there. If you missed the show last night, you got the whole podcast is broken down and everything. The complete podcast is there. Sean has done all of that. He's loading up videos, everything, you name it. But we're back at Tommy Rockers tonight. We'll see you all later. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Much love.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.